Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every fortnight we get together to talk about movies, TV and online content, help you answer the question, why was there a ceiling there at the Emmy Awards this year? I don't know, it was meant to be like an outdoor event, but it looked very indoors to me. I'm host Ashley Hobley, joining me today, Dylan Blight.
He's here, he's there, he's every fucking where. I can't.
He was there in person, the actor. Real person.
That's true, yeah. Doesn't sound anything like his character. Sounds like a normal British person.
Yeah. I think that's the most startling thing, maybe, for people.
He's like,
Multiple
hello,
words.
everybody. My name's Brett. On TV, he's like, fuck off.
Yep. So,
actors.
actors. Alright, on today's show, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, a little bit of news. But first, let's talk about the Emmy Awards. Obviously, big ceremony today. Dylan, you didn't get to watch the ceremony live the first time since high school, you said.
That's what I reckon. That's what I reckon because of bloody work. I reckon, it's the first time I've missed out watching live. So I've watched some of the highlight reels on YouTube. I watched some of the key speeches. Of course, I read the results. Tried to keep up as much as I could, but it felt weird not watching it.
Yeah, so as someone
like
who didn't watch
show.
it, what stood out to you?
Ted Lasso? I mean, it just looked like the usual mix of stuff, didn't it? Looked like there was a few awkward moments. There was that one dude director from bloody Queen's Gambit who wouldn't leave the stage. You've got the usual whiff of sort of things that work and don't work. There was that one skit about people who don't get Emmys was pretty funny. Surprisingly, the Schitt's Creek cast was not very funny. I don't know.
What?
Usual sort of.
You didn't think that was funny? No.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Felt like the usual ups and downs, I guess. But it was also weird just seeing a proper
Crowd.
proper show again, I guess. Yeah, that was weird. Go back to the hazmat suits and stuff. Let's keep that going.
Alright, so I watched this show in its entirety. Admittedly, I was doing other stuff at the same time. But, it was okay. I think, the awards themselves are fine. Like, a lot of the wins and speeches and that kind of stuff were really good. Cedric the Entertainer was not a good host, or at least what material was given to him was not very good. There were a bunch of, sketches that they did where he appeared in events that happened during the year, but he was off screen. And there's stupid one with the friggin' fly from the vice presidential debate that apparently he was involved in. That was like all these moments are like, ugh, cringy as fuck, and like you could have spent that time giving other people speech time and that kind of stuff. I think they did this weird thing where they would show the nominees first before bringing out the presenter, which made it feel very disjointed, I thought, because we're all kind of used to this. The presenter comes out, says a little bit, and then they say, here are the nominees.
Here are the nominees for...
Yeah, it kind of throws off the rhythm, because then you get the nominees, and then they announce the winner straight after. Whereas they announce the nominees, some person comes out, does 2 minutes of gags, and then they reveal who the winner is. Yeah, it didn't really work. And yeah, halfway through the show, you forgot Cedric was even the host because he kind of disappeared.
That's typical host.
That's typical.
Thing.
I don't know how they don't get the timing for these things down. I mean, you've got 73 years of history to realize how much time you've got and how to best capitalize on it. But it was a weird one. Obviously the Ted Lasso guys did really good speeches, enjoyable speeches and that kind of stuff. I also enjoyed Jean Smart, second actress, I believe, to win to have won Best Lead, Best Supporting, and Best Guest Star in a comedy series behind Betty White. So that was pretty cool. Although Hacks, surprising, they did pick up awards, taking out directing and writing, which I guess surprised a lot of people who thought it was just going to be a Ted Lasso sweep. But what else happened? But yeah, also 2 female directors getting the wins for best directing as drama series and best comedy series. First, I think they said the second or third time that's ever happened in history. But yeah, any other awards that kind of surprised you or got your attention?
Cole winning. Michaela Cole winning for the
that was a big.
writing.
I would say that was a big surprise, even though I predicted it to happen.
Yeah, it was still good to see. I guess that was sort of a standout one. First, I think it was first person of color or woman or whatever to win for writing.
First black woman to ever win for writing. Yeah.
And she had a really good speech, so that was good. What else stood out speech-wise? G Smart was just funny, I guess.
Yeah.
Someone else was funny too. I can't fucking remember who it was. No, I can't remember. I mean, there was no like really standout speeches this year. Nothing like too crazy, at least unless there's a handful that I haven't watched. Unless there was something.
No, nothing was like super stellar or standout. I think the other surprise, or one that we didn't see coming, was Ewan McGregor winning for Best Actor in a Limited Series. We both haven't seen Halston, which itself got mixed reviews, so I guess that's kind of surprising itself. The Crown, obviously sweeping on the drama side.
Typical.
With Toby, I think probably Toby Menzies winning in Best Supporting Actor was the biggest surprise. I don't think anybody kind of saw that coming. But yeah.
Shout out to Evan Peters.
Evan Peters, yeah, he won.
Yeah.
He was good, excited, Kate Winslet won. Everybody, she took out very tight race. But then The Queen's Gambit won Best Limited Series, which was, I don't know, it's interesting seeing as those 2 shows were kind of neck and neck award-wise. With Queen's Gambit obviously taking a lot of the technical stuff and Mirabee's Town taking...
getting sued?
That's
like, here's an award to help you, since you're going to have to apparently pay someone $1 billion.
I don't know. This person, it's like, it's a fantasy, it's a fictional world. You can't play it against men in a fictional world.
I don't think
she's got much of a case now.
Suit holds much of a case.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Brett giving his speech and pretty much, I'm not allowed to swear, and then swearing immediately after. Very Roy Kent. I thought. Yep. Hannah Wenningham's just pure joy and disbelief in her win was great to see, as well as Olivia Colman. I think she was very surprised as well. Although she seems surprised every time she wins an award. So
she's just a very down to earth, wholesome type of person. Is how she always comes across. So she's genuinely surprised. Never has like that sort of aura of, oh, I've never thought I would have won.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess then SNL winning all the shout outs to Norm Macdonald throughout the night. Obviously, as an Australian, I don't know much about Norm Macdonald. It's kind of before my time, and I feel like he was a very big presence in the American comedy scene. And then the shout outs to Conan throughout the show, whether it was John Oliver saying it, what everybody thought, that he wished, everybody kind of wished Conan had won that, or Conan pretty much taking over the ceremony when the chairman of the Academy came out to give a speech, pretty much, saluting him, and everybody finding it hilarious.
Conan seems to have been having
he had a good night, I think.
One-man show, yeah.
I think he had a couple of drinks to help him with the night. Yeah. I don't think there was many stellar presenters either. Again, like I said, with the disjointed thing, it was kind of...
Yeah, there was. What's a fuck? Stifler's mum introducing...
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah. Love Jennifer Coolidge. Give her an award.
I don't
Anytime
know.
she's
That
just-
felt super awkward.
Nah, I love her. She's funny every time I fucking see her. Maybe I'm just coming off the White Lotus. I'm like,
I think so.
"Eh."
Yeah. Be interested to see if the White Lotus love sticks around for another 12 months. Yeah, well, who knows? Because it was interesting, obviously, the race between Mayor of Easttown and Queen's Gambit, where Queen's Gambit was pretty much the first favourite for that category, and then Mayor of Easttown kind of came in last second.
Yeah, does it not feel like Queen's Gambit came out like 2 years ago?
It does, but that's also because everything feels like it came out 2 years ago. That's more than 3 months old. So,
That's true. The Mayor of Easttown feels like it came out a couple months ago, but it was within this year, whereas Queen's Gambit, I'm like, even Ted Lasso season 1, I'm kind of like,
that was a while ago.
That was a while back, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the big story that was doing the rounds post Emmys was the lack of wins in the acting categories for people of color. Do you have an opinion on that, or is it just pure chance that, obviously this year had a very high number of nominees of color, a lot of diversity. There were a lot of pandering throughout the show, talking about how much diversity there is in television at the moment, bringing out obviously the cast of Pose, the cast of Reservation Dogs, a bunch of other people of color, but then for them not to take any home, especially in a couple of categories where you thought they probably would have. Notably the male drama acting categories, I think. There was a person of color who was a more favorite, but
Yeah, I feel like the fight's always been for the nominations and not to hand out free wins. So I feel like all the people who won were the best in the category, other than I guess the lead male in a drama stuff. Yeah, it was the ones I saw everyone on Twitter talking about as well when I was on lunch today. Otherwise, you look at any of the other categories, and I'm just like, I don't know, just the best person won. As long as the nominees aren't all white, that was kind of the breaking point.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's like you could argue like, oh no, like Ted Lasso's a show full of white people, and because it's so popular, it's going to sweep. But yeah, like there's like all the main characters are white. I don't know what you want me to.
Yeah. Well, except Nick Mohammed, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's not he's not
No.
going to be nominated over anyone else.
No,
Or
absolutely.
win
I
over
think,
anyone else.
yeah, I can't fault them for, who they selected as winners. I think, obviously, those two acting categories, we're talking about Billy Porter for Pose and Michael K. Williams for Lovecraft Country. Always get that.
That was the one I was iffy on, but Billy Porter, I was legit like.
I think
Okay.
when it comes down to it, those are just smaller shows, and as much as we hate to say it, they haven't been as watched by as many people who are probably
how much
voting.
they watch though. Come on, surely.
I mean, I'm sure
I
people
thought,
are going to vote for the show they've actually seen, and rather than a show that's they haven't. You know what I mean?
I just thought Billy Porter was a shoo-in. I just thought it was a
Yeah, they love the Crown.
fucking crown, man.
So yeah. Well, I will shout out Ken Jeong, who I thought had a good bit of being stuck outside the wasn't allowed into the ceremony because he didn't have his Vax card on him. He left it, couldn't find it in his bag. Presented the award from outside. So yeah.
That's fair.
Also, Hamilton won Best Recorded Variety Special.
Oh, yeah, that's fucked. Yeah, talking about like one thing that was fucked up. Yeah, that was the one where I was like, really?
I mean,
The one thing
I'm sure they were
really
going to
didn't
win
wanna
one.
Yeah, but I just didn't want it to win to prove to sort of.
Why do you have to
the
win something that was
standards
telecast?
Come on. Yeah, see, this is people had this hashtag, like Bo Burnham. People trying to be like Bo Burnham should have won, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, fucking Bo Burnham should have won. The
Yeah.
other hashtag that people getting riled up that I saw. Elizabeth Olsen got snubbed and all this sort of shit, and everyone's like crying about it. I'm like, you're really
WandaVision not winning
I understand that. Like, we like WandaVision. she's really good in that show. But I mean, you're gonna say she's snubbed? She wasn't that good that we're gonna consider it a massive snub. You know what's a snub? Bo Burnham. You know what else is a snub? Probably Billy Porter. I haven't watched that season, but I presume there's no way that fucking Crown performance is any better.
I don't know. Yeah.
You know what a snub is? Every year when Better Call Saul and Rhea Seehorn isn't nominated.
That is the only valid snub.
That is
the Explosion Network.
Continued snub, yeah.
Alright. Yeah, so I guess that does it for the Emmy talk. I will say, I mean, it was kind of a given. But again, I won the Emmy predictions 18-13. Obviously, going Ted Lasso to win Best Comedy helped me, and picking Michaela Cole, If I May Destroy You, to win Best Writing. A few other smaller ones. But yeah. It's to be expected at this point.
Calm down over there.
I was trying to find one that you got over. You did pick Olivia Colman, which I got wrong. So, okay.
I got fucked hard on this. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
Mayor of Easttown getting fucked hard by front center. I committed to Mayor of Easttown hard.
Yeah,
and it really fucked
That's
me.
true,
Like I'm looking back at my thing now. I picked so much Mayor of Easttown. Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll say Julianne Nicholson also gave a good speech. Yeah. Her line about women in Philadelphia and Kabul and Texas, struggling at the moment, that it to keep going and that kind of stuff was really pretty good. So yeah, that's Emmys talk for this year. We'll be back in 12 months, I guess, to talk about it all again with whatever.
We'll be back soon to talk about the Oscars before.
It's true. I guess it's not that far away. It's like 6 months probably. I don't know. Maybe did they still push back or they pulled forward? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. It's gonna be here in no time. It'll feel like.
I think it. Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's at the regular time now, isn't it? So it should be like February again. I think.
Maybe. All right. Let's move into what's in our watch history. And Dylan, you've been watching a bunch of stuff from the Sydney Underground Film Festival, which there's a couple days left out of time of recording. To check stuff out, you can go to suff2021.eventive.org. I'll put the link in the show notes to check out all these films. But let's get into it. A couple you got reviews up on the website for, but let's go alphabetical order. Alien on a Stage. What's this one? On stage.
By the time this is up, maybe I've watched more. Who knows?
We'll talk about it next week.
I was about to say, I've still got some more that I want to work through.
I've been bad and have not watched any of the ones I've been allocated.
Well, I mean, if we've got screeners for all these, by the way, is the thing. So I do want to, even if the festival ends, I'm still probably going to
watch them,
review the rest of them anyway, because they're not like they're all film fest. Like none of them are like out yet, so it's like sort of evergreen to just get them up. Anyway. Which one first? Alien on Stage. Alien on Stage is a film about a documentary about a group of bus drivers in some British town. I can't remember the town. But like small town vibe, small city British vibe where everyone sort of knows one another. It's the sort of thing you get. And anyway, they put together every year, these group do a play or whatever, but they usually do pantomimes. For families, and they do it to raise money as well for, I can't remember who they're raising for. They barely spend any time on it, to be honest, like going over who they're raising money for. Anyway, they decide, let's do something different, a little bit different this year. Let's pick like an actual serious play, and like they had a list of things that they were going to do, and the one they ended up deciding on is trying to adapt Ridley Scott's Alien to the stage. And so apparently the film's like in two sort of parts, which is the first one's like a lot of talking heads and explanation and a little bit behind the scenes, but mostly people talking about how it happened and what else in the lead up to their opening night when they did this. And there wasn't really that many people that turned up, but amongst all of this, the two directors of the film come across this, and they start following them from that point or whatever, and more or less sort of by talking about it and pushing the right buttons, they end up getting them a one-night show in can't remember the exact stage, where like a big one, like in London or wherever the fuck it is, like a pretty big stage, and it sells out like really fast. So the rest of the documentary sort of covers them preparing for that, and it's quite entertaining because they're all, you know, amateur actors, they're all, you know, older people for the most part. It's a family affair, you know, like someone, the guy directing it, his wife's like playing Ripley in it. One of the other dudes, his dad makes the props, his mum's doing the costumes, there's someone else, and then he's doing like playing the alien, and his partner's working in the production behind the scenes with all the lights and stuff. So it's all this sort of family affair, and everyone's struggling to learn their lines or whatever else. I feel like if you just like sort of fun amateur theatre stuff, it's entertaining. It's even more entertaining if you like Alien and see their attempts to very cheaply create alien costumes and stuff, and to good effect, like what they managed to pull off with no money and just using know-how and what you can get around the house sort of thing. It also almost reminded me of how Doctor Who was just creating. They're like, let's just put a fucking blender on the front of this thing's face and call it an alien, you know, call it the fucking Dalek. It's similar sort of stuff when they're creating the alien suit and whatever else and other sort of things. And the last half of the film is more or less just, I don't know how long it goes for. It feels like it nearly goes for like 20 minutes. It's just sort of like the show, but like cut down into the key moments, I guess, of the actual show. So you just sort of watch it, and the crowd's reaction to a lot of it is super entertaining. And I didn't spoil it in my review, and I won't spoil it now. It's like, because you go into it, the documentary builds up with this, not like super tension, but there is that feeling of they're still struggling to remember their lines. Like, is this going to be a disaster? Is this not? And yeah, you find out. So I gave it a 7, I think. I think it was good. Yeah.
Cool. Tell us about An Ideal Host.
An Ideal Host is a Australian film. I think it's set in WA. It is very weird, and I'll try not to spoil this one either because it's quite entertaining. So the setup is basically, the movie's really weird. The movie it starts with this girl and this guy. They're like sitting in the house, and they're sort of playing out the following evening's dinner party that they're planning. But they're planning it out to a T in which he's enacting proposing to her. She's enacting how she'll respond. They then pretend talking to their friends and predicting what they'll say and what'll happen. They've got like a full planner down for like when they'll do different things during the night and all this sort of stuff. Like, it's full. Let's get it going. They go to bed super late that night. She's up at like 3 a.m. the next morning. There's like this whole montage scene that plays where she puts out all the decorations and placemats and everything, and then does that like 3, 4, 5 times over with different variations of themes, and even changes the pictures on the wall, like obsessively trying to get this dinner party to be perfect. And then it comes up with the tile cut at this point, you know, like perfect, you know, what the fuck's the movie called? Perfect. What's it called? I've already forgot. What's it called? This movie?
An Ideal Host.
An Ideal Host. Then it comes to Taika. But then what happens is they get fucked because one of their ex-friends, this woman, she decides to sort of invite herself, and as soon as she sort of arrives, everything just goes down the drain. And from there, things go in interesting directions. It's obviously a cheap little indie Australian film. It takes some interesting directions for out of it. The acting's quite good. The general back and forth banter of everyone. There's just this weird feeling about it all. But yeah, I guess it's like I don't know, dark offbeat comedy, slight elements of horror towards the end sort of thing. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
All right. Tell us about Bad Girls.
Bad Girls, a lot of people would probably... This is
this a gender swapped Bad Boys?
No.
Okay, cool.
This is a very weird movie that I think I gave it like an 8 or something. This is one of those cases where you could watch this, like you would not like this movie. This is one of those ones where you just know if you're going to like it or what. So it is a exploitation film like a throwback to exploitation films, like throwback to like sort of grindhousey type feel, that sort of thing. The movie starts with these three girls stealing money, a bag of money or whatever from a strip club, and then before you even get to sort of anyone saying dialogue, there's literally like 5 minutes of this trippy scene where they're sort of like driving a car through the highway and stopping at places and like murdering people and whatever else. They're constantly on drugs and whatever else. And the dialogue is purposely just ridiculous. Some of the acting is either bad, amateur, and some of it, I swear, just has to be so on the nose terrible to fit sort of the theme of what's going on with this. The violence in this movie is over the top ridiculousness that I am it may be too, and not even like a gory way, it's just really over the top. Just I can't even, like, I want to spoil one thing that they do, but I'm like, I can't I can't even tell you, but yeah, I mean, it's got a really good soundtrack that I looked up after the fact. You can actually find a Bandcamp, so that's really good. Original soundtrack with some scored pieces as well. It was made for like a couple $1,000s or whatever, and it's surprising how far they managed to stretch the money in this movie, because it has several locations and whatnot. But I mean, the key premise is the three girls want to get to Mexico to escape the cops or with their money, but along the way they come across a rock concert where one of the girls' favorite rock stars playing there, so they decide to kidnap him, and then they decide to kidnap some other rock star, some of the other girls' favorite rock stars, and then it's sort of just like a road trip, fucking LSD trip filled with violence and wacky characters and just weird. It is, if you are into this sort of style of film, I think this is a really good, up-to-date, modernized version of it, because it doesn't. A lot of these films used to be super sleazy. I guess that was made like and even like, I guess, offensive to a degree. I feel like this film does the very good job of being as violent and in your face as this genre is known for, and how you do it. However, the way it's filmed, the way the characters are portrayed, and the overall vibe you get from the themes involved, it doesn't feel like it sort of brings it up to 21st century. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it as someone who likes these sorts of films if they're done right.
Okay.
And appreciates is like so the shout out I'll mention is like, if you've ever seen Faster Pussycat, no, Kill Faster Pussycat,
Kill.
Yeah, that
Kill
one.
Faster Pussycat?
Yeah. Think that style movie, like that's the type of movie that this is inspired by.
Right. And last one, The Land.
I really, yeah.
It's Faster Pussycat Kill. Sorry,
there we go.
Just
that one. Yeah. Yes. So like, think that and that sort of stuff that inspired like Tarantino to do some of his stuff. That's the The Land is a movie. Fuck, half of these movies have like weird twists or stuff. That's just this one is Australian.
That's kind of be expected of this type of genre.
Yeah, this is the one I haven't wrote my review for because I have no time as of recording it. But I'm gonna do that. But so it is about a family. So you got a husband, a wife, and a couple of kids. The movie starts and they're sort of just like chilling or whatever, and he's getting excited for someone to come visit, and it's his friend who's returning from America. And for the start of the movie, you sort of like, he turns up and they have a get together. He's chatting, and you get this sort of weird tension between him and the husband, him and the wife. Like, obviously, there's a past there. Something weird happened before this guy disappeared to America. You can get the sense they've all been sort of friends for years, but what actually gone on? And then they decide to go visit the land, which is, at first you don't know what it is, but it's sort of like a property he owns, I guess, that's up in like bushland. So there's no house there or anything like that. It's just, but he owns it, and they go up there, or they used to go up there all the time and go 4-wheel drive and then camping and whatever else, this sort of thing. So he asked to go up there, and when the two of them go up there, you then get to delve into what's happening between these two characters, their past. And when you get to that point, the movie's quite good. My biggest complaint of this is that it just takes a while to get there. And it's only 90 minutes, but I almost feel like it would have been a lot better at just sort of, I don't know, like an hour, 10, hour 15 or so. Like, I feel like you cut like 10, 15 minutes of this down and you sort of get to the, because I remember it actually got to the point where I was like, oh, I see what this movie's point is now and like what themes this movie's tackling. And I remember pressing like up or whatever to see the time, and it was like 50 something minutes in. Fucking hell! Like, I've been watching like 50 minutes of this, and I had no idea what this movie going, or what the point of any of this was. I wasn't exactly bored, but I wasn't like, I was just like, what am I watching? Whereas I was a lot more intrigued once I kind of understood where we was going. I like the way it ends. I like the general discussions the characters get into about the thing that's going on between them and whatever else. But and again, it's obviously a very cheap made sort of Australian indie film. I looked it up. Apparently, it was filmed years and years and years ago, or at least maybe not that long, but at least like 4 or 5 years ago it seems. So it's been sitting around for a while. Maybe COVID, they didn't get taken at film festivals or this sort of thing. But it's also like an affair of all of the cast, the producers, director. You know, like it's just everyone's, I guess, chipped in money to make this movie and whatever else. That is quite good and stuff. So yeah, I did like it. I'm not sure what I'd give it. Maybe like a 6, probably around 6ish or something. Yeah.
So I watched the first 3 episodes of Y the Last Man, the adaptation of the beloved Michael K. Vaughan and Pia Guerra graphic novel series, starring Diane Lane, Ashley Romans, Ben Schnetzer, Olivia Thirlby. Pretty much follows a young man called Yorick, who ends up being the last man, cisgendered male human on Earth, after a sudden virus or something causes every other cisgendered man on Earth to die. I was really looking forward to this. This has obviously been a project that's been long in development. I think from as early as like 2012 or something. No, maybe even earlier than that. Of course, So this iteration had been in development since 2015. Before that, it'd been pitched as a movie, which in hindsight is like, that would have been a terrible idea. It's okay. I feel like it's kind of a slow build at the moment, which is rough to say when you consider that the opening of the show is every single man on Earth dying. That should be a pretty big, like, holy shit moment. But obviously, since the series came out, we've had a glut of apocalypse-esque TV series. This probably isn't my favorite apocalypse-based show based on a comic book series this year. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I think, obviously, Diane Lane is really, I think she's the top actress in the series. She plays Yorick's mother, who was a congressman, and because of all the death, is elevated to become the president of the United States of America. It's very much, you can, obviously, a large portion of the show is going to be focused on her and her trying to run the country, whereas, of course, Yorick's will have his own adventures, who trying to figure out why he was the last man surviving for whatever reason. Of course, you got Agent 355, who is part of apparently a secret circle who worked for the president beforehand. She's introduced really cool, where she sets up these underground terrorists, like local, local terrorists to blow themselves up. Pretty good introduction and that kind of stuff. I think she's also really good. I like Ben Schnetzer as Yorick. He definitely feels like the version of the comics where, he's not really interested in like helping anybody else out. He just wants to find his girlfriend. It's like kind of a sad sack failure. He also in the comics he was a attempted magician, escape artist. So, it plays on the thing of, escape artist managed to escape dying, that kind of stuff. Olivia Thirlby plays his sister, Hero, she's fine. I mean, she's more interesting in the comics so far. I think that they haven't really done anything interesting with her in the series so far. She has a pretty dark story, at least to kick things off. But yeah, they seem to be introducing this left-wing, right-wing political element to the show, which definitely wasn't something that was part of the comics. Where obviously the daughter of the president, who's very much like a right-wing, boys should be treated like boys. The left agenda is all teaching our boys to be sissies and that kind of stuff. Author kind of thing is trying to gain influence within the I guess the party. I don't know, the government, whatever's left of it is very small. Yeah. So that she seems to, I think she's a new character and that kind of stuff. They also have Hero's best friend, who's a trans man, played by Elliot Fletcher. Again, we haven't seen much of the Hero section so far, so hoping that, from what I've heard, he seems to be a good addition to the show and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's improving as the series is going along, so I'm hopeful that the next, I think they've got 7 episodes in this season, from what I can see on Wikipedia. I'm hoping that those progressively improve, and then, kick off season 2 with all these building blocks there to get something really good. So yeah. Why the Last Man? You can watch it on Binge at the moment, or Foxtel, I guess, if you've still got Foxtel. I also watched the final episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. After 8 seasons, it's finally come to an end. Yeah, they kind of wrote it to a good point where, all these characters are kind of moving progressively to different parts of their careers and lives and that kind of thing. And then the last episode is like, for a number of years, they've been known for these Halloween heists, in which everybody tries to collect this item and prove themselves to be the best detective, I guess. And it's all a bunch of crazy shenanigans. So last episode is a 2-part, like hour long, effectively, heist episode. Yeah, a lot of emotional beats, callbacks, jokes. It kind of hit everything that I wanted it to hit. Yeah, I'm just going to be sad that it's gone, but I guess nothing lasts forever. And yeah. I'll have to wait for the next comfort show to come along. Because Ted Lasso's only go for another year, and then we're all going to be sad again. It's like bullshit.
We don't need every show to go for like 10 seasons.
No, I know. But yeah.
There's always another good show. It's not like that we run out of good shows.
That's true. It's true. But still, why do things have to end? Anyway, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. Dylan, I know I said before I didn't watch any of the Sydney Underground Film Festival stuff. It's because I binge watched the entire season of Sex Education.
Oh my god.
I was disappointed to find out it's only 8 episodes long, and apparently that's how long every other season has been, but I thought...
I was about to say every season's been 8 episodes. What the hell are you
I could have sworn it was 10, and I was very sad that it ended. But Sex Education's still fantastic. I think... I'm not sure that it is as good as season 2. I think...
Damn, I'm not watching it anymore.
No, I would... Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think... For me, they've rushed a couple of... Or it feels like they rush a couple of relationships. Like, it feels like they get together and break up a bit too quick. Like, that kind of thing. But that could just be me invested in those kind of things. Those relationships and that kind of stuff. But yeah, everybody's fantastic again. Like, Amy Lou Woods, who plays Amy... I think she gets to shine even more. This season is still recovering from the events of the first season. Where, the second season where she was assaulted on a bus. And, she talks about her issues and that kind of stuff. Of course, Gillian Gillian Anderson's character is pregnant this season, and she has to she's been not telling over the term, I guess the summer holiday, I guess is the time period in which we've jumped. She hasn't told Jacob she's pregnant, so that's something she has to address at the start of the season. Then they kind of form this odd family unit. But the big change this season, obviously, the head teacher from the first 2 seasons got the sack after the end of last season, where there was a massive sex musical and a chlamydia scare right through the school. The school is being dragged through the press and pretty much called the sex school. So new head teacher comes in called Hope, and is slowly kind of progressively becomes more controlling and like trying to weed out all the sexual activity and sexual talk at all costs throughout the season. So, where she kind of butts heads with a bunch of different characters.
I'm gonna miss whatever the actor's name was.
No, you're not going to miss him because he still is around.
Okay.
Still in it, trying to find, he's got divorced. He's living with his brother, played by Jason Isaacs, which is weird casting because he's only in it for like a few episodes. That kind of stuff.
Money.
Netflix money, I guess. But yeah, he has an interesting arc through the season. I think it's quite nice. A couple of relationships you don't see coming. Again, I think Adam's growth this season continues the trajectory of that character from season 1, where he was a person you absolutely despised, to the end of this season, where, oh man.
You wish he was dead.
I would, no. You feel
he
sorry.
Was alive.
You'll feel emotions, I think. It's again another great season. Continue the Maeve Otis thing. I don't want to say too much because obviously you haven't seen it and you're definitely looking forward to it, I assume. So yeah, Sex Education still really good. My personal preference is still for season 2, but I don't know. I think we'll have to talk about it once you've seen it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into some film news. Really, I've only got the one big story this week, and that is that after 20-something years, Christopher Nolan is not making his next film with Warner Brothers and instead making his next film with Paramount. Is making his next film with Universal. According to Hollywood Reporter, his next film set to be about one of the fathers of the atom bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, is going to be with Universal Studios. Apparently, they agreed to his small budget of $100 million. Which I guess for him is quite small scale. But yeah, Dylan, is this the changing of the guard? Obviously, Warner Brothers had long been viewed as the filmmaker's studio, thanks to people like Christopher Nolan. But in the wake of last, I guess 2 years now. I guess, right?
COVID's been around a while.
Yeah. It's kind of obviously they butted heads on the release date of Tenet. Then Tenet didn't do well critically or financially. And then obviously them deciding to put their whole entire 2021 slate on HBO Max, which he quote said was the worst streaming service. It was hard to see them like work together again. But
I don't think any of this is surprising. And I'm really glad that I can now find Christopher Nolan, one of our greatest modern day filmmakers, alongside one of the greatest franchises of all time, Fast and Furious, under the same umbrella. So,
do you think they'll bring him on to be consultant?
I really hope they get him to co-direct alongside Justin Lin.
What would that even look like?
Maybe the greatest movie of all time. It would have lots more wows and some better slow-mo. That'd be pretty good. So, a lot more Vin Diesel one-liners, I reckon.
Less CGI.
Less CGI, more practical. Well, I mean, Fast and Furious movies, Justin Lin uses a lot of practical effects. So maybe this is a match made in heaven, you know?
Maybe.
But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Huge loss for Warner Brothers. They fucked themselves. Universal, I guess Christopher Nolan would be quite happy to go there because you look at what they've done during COVID. They have simply gone, all right, well, the movie's in the theater and we have that brief window of time and then we're putting up on VOD. And it's still in the theaters, but you can buy it in VOD if you want to. But it's got that theater time that Nolan wants. I guess that's an important thing.
So apparently his demands were he asked for total creative control, 20% of first dollar gross, and a blackout period from the studio wherein the company would not release a movie 3 weeks before or 3 weeks after. And he also asked for around a 100-day theatrical window, which apparently were all things that Warner Brothers was giving him. So, I mean, it's not that shocking, but possibly shocking in the current climate.
Yeah. I just think that he spat at Warner Brothers after I reckon he feels betrayed to a degree, to be honest. That's how I reckon it's probably come across to him, because they obviously... I think in his mind he was promised certain things, and Warner Brothers betrayed him with what they did and what they've done to other people's movies. So look out for June 2 on Universal when Denis Villeneuve joins his...
I don't think that works.
Christopher Nolan.
I don't think the IP thing works like that.
You're gonna have all the people who have been like, who else can come over? Patty Jenkins? She's like, nah, Universal now. Wonder Woman.
No, she's Disney. So.
Over there now.
It's got that Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, well, you know what else is going to be over in Universal? Star Wars.
I very much doubt that. I can almost guarantee that is not true.
Who else has said shit about cinema? You know who else is joining? All right, we got Christopher Nolan. We got Denis Villeneuve, we got Patty Jenkins, and leading this new rat pack of fuck you streaming motherfuckers, it's the big dog himself, Martin Scorsese.
Isn't his next movie coming to Apple?
As long as it goes to theaters, Ash, that's the important
That's true. Apparently Apple did meet with Nolan as well, so...
They have put stuff in the theater, I believe. Have they?
Yeah.
I think.
Not sure. Now I think about it.
No.
No,
I feel like they wouldn't be against it, so...
I mean, yeah, because... Yeah, all their kind of acquisitions have been, like, stuff that's come, like, not to the theater.
After COVID.
Obviously, Coda. That never got to theaters. They got that Finch movie, the Tom Hanks
Coda
one.
got an indie festival run, I guess, before they brought it, so...
Yeah.
Cherie was...
Although, for Christopher Nolan, I mean...
Yeah. Well, yeah, it doesn't affect his movies. It's still just a movie. It just changes the logo at the front, so...
Yeah. Dylan, when you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, what's the first one that comes to mind that desperately needs a sequel?
Batman Forever.
Okay. Didn't it technically have a sequel?
Jingle All the Way.
No, not the movie I'm looking for.
Total Recall.
I mean, they have remakes, but no, that's not.
Conan.
Yeah, I don't know if he would, like, I don't know if they're doing another Conan remake, but I don't know.
Kindergarten Cop.
I would like a Kindergarten Cop too with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's put you out of misery, Dylan. I think we've joked about this before, but they've announced Triplets, the sequel to Twins, the film that came out in 1988, directed by Ivan Reitman, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. It's getting a sequel treatment with the third brother to be played by Tracy Morgan. Dylan, what's your immediate reaction?
I thought they announced this already. Or did I dream?
It was a long, there was talk of it in the past, I believe. Originally planned with Eddie Murphy to play.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The third brother. So yes, this is a confirmation, I think.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. Let me put it this way. No. No. And in the words of Tracy Morgan in Kevin Smith's worst film, Cop Out, hell no. It's from the only funny scene in that movie where they have Sean Williams go up in the back of the cop car. Tracy Morgan. Shout outs to those who've seen it.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck this. I don't care for this. This sounds horrible.
This does sound horrible. It seems like it's being made by Universal, so, maybe Christopher Nolan can give them some tips.
Give him some rub. Yeah. Some magic on it.
It seems such a weird one to do 33 years later. Like,
it's all the rage now.
Yeah, it's not like anybody's demanding.
To Coming to America.
I mean, but you just named a whole bunch of better options.
Yeah, that was my point.
Yeah, so, I guess we're looking forward to triplets when it eventually comes to cinemas. But
I'm not. Yeah. Just to clarify, I'm not. So everyone's aware.
I look forward to reading people's reviews of triplets.
Okay, very good.
And seeing them potentially rip it to shreds, because it can't. There's no way this can be good, right?
No, it's going to be terrible.
Alright, that's kind of all the news I've had this week, obviously. We had the Emmy talk at the start of the show. So let's jump into some thumbs for trailers. Dylan, let's kick things off with a big one straight off the bat. Matrix Resurrections, directed by Lana Wachowski, starring Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Jada Pinkett Smith, Yaha Abdul-Mateen II, Cherie Henriques, Jonathan Groff, Neil Patrick Harris, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, and Christina Ricci. Played by Strange Memories, Neo's life takes an unexpected turn when he finds himself back inside the Matrix. What do you think of the trailer, Dylan?
Loved it. Awesome. What a trailer. What a song. What an edit. Looks amazing. I can't wait. I've been very excited for this ever since they started teasing it. And there's talks. You'd read these news headlines like, potential of a fourth Matrix. And you'd be like, that won't happen.
Again, showing your power. You said, where the fuck is the Matrix information? It's meant to come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And
here we are.
Footage at CinemaCon. Trailer.
All I gotta do is
everything.
Speak it. Speak
Just put
something.
the words out into the universe.
Yeah, and it happens.
Occasionally.
But I mean, to be real, it was a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking at upcoming releases, and I still saw this was scheduled for 2021. I was like, "What the fuck? Where have that trailer? Did they finish filming that motherfucker?" Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, it looks really good. I'm very keen. I'm big. I love The Matrix. I actually like all three movies. I'm not one of these people who's like, "Oh, the first one was good, but the rest was shit." I like all of them. I was obsessed with it, sort of in high school to a degree. I mean, look, I don't think it's hot. Nearly everyone got The Matrix, didn't they? Wasn't there a phase where everyone loved The Matrix? It was like the coolest fucking thing in the world, Like,
yeah,
everyone
before
watched
the Matrix 2 came out.
The Matrix 2, they're all good. Matrix 2, that highway chase scene.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Good shit. Matrix 1, going into the fucking bottom of that, whatever, that office building or whatever. Slow-mo, bullet time, fucking running walls. Shit's so good. Maybe you got the Path of Neo game. You got the other game where it was actually tied into the movie
Into
events.
the Matrix.
He played as, was that it? Yeah, Into the Matrix, where he played as
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, her character, whatever the name is. Fuck, what good games. All canon. Matrix, much like Star Wars, all the games were canon apparently. So, very keen, and very keen. Can say now. Look forward on your What Do You Want to Watch feed. We will have a rewatch of the Matrix films coming out.
Yep, look forward to the road to the Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, I'm very keen.
Potentially with special guests. Assuming things don't go wrong.
Assuming he doesn't die.
Schedule-wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it looks amazing as well. Like, this is a movie I would happily see characters come back from 20-something years ago. It looks beautiful. It looks like the Matrix. I don't think you can put anything other than that. Obviously, there's some interesting visuals. Obviously, you got him eating the blue pills consistently. And then is Yaha Abdul-Mateen II playing Morpheus?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he confirmed that since.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there was an interview where he got asked and he said yes, he's playing Morpheus.
Which is interesting because the story is the Matrix Online video game. Morpheus dies in that.
Yeah. But I will
So
say...
that could be why he looks different.
It could also be... So basically what the trailer implies to me is it's another Matrix when there's another... Because we're going like deep Matrix. We'll discuss this, I'm sure we do the movies. But it's like the Matrix movies implied that Neo had done this several times before. And there's always a Neo. And he's sort of like a bug in the system. And he always comes back, even win or lose. And when you get to Revelate, I never get the name right. Revelations, yeah. Revelations. By the time you get to that at the end, it implies he's done that before. You know, he just makes a different choice. So this could be a different Neo, is the thing. Because you get to the end of that movie, and it seems like he could walk in there at the end of that movie and upload himself. Maybe he uploaded himself into a different Matrix. And this is what he's doing. I don't know. But then you could also have a different Morpheus. Maybe Morpheus has also got to a stage where he's now like repeating in the systems or something. The Oracle at the end of the third movie says, when she's asked, will we ever see Neo again? That little kid says. And she says, I reckon we will one day. You know? I haven't watched these movies for like a few years, but come on. These are standout lines. You remember them. They stand out. You go, will we ever see a Matrix 4?
I guess so.
No, surely not. And here we are. So I reckon it's a different Matrix. You've still got agents. You've still got, and there's a lot of just like the cool thing about the trailer is it has a lot of like throwback stuff for little small things as well as big things that obviously stand out from the first movie. Be that the training dojo thing with Morpheus, but instead of like getting his ass kicked, the Neo just like completely fucking obliterates the place or whatever else. And then you've got the tie in the thing where like there's that stage where also in the trailer he gets his door knocked on and there's an answer someone who's got the rabbit or whatever, and that was like the thing of course from the first movie, and the person who had the rabbit tattoo on her was that actress who was in Home and Away for a while, and that always stood out to me for some reason because I'd be watching it for the first time, but hey, she's from Home and Away, because I was like 10 when the first movie came out, and I guess that was a reference point. Yeah, and then obviously you've got the whole Trinity, Neo touching hands, like romance thing that's going on. So that's really good. I don't know. I'm just really, really keen. I'm very keen to see how this goes. I'm keen now that we're in the year 2021, that Lena doesn't have to play around the themes of the movie, I guess, and we can just get full on whatever we want to do and say with the movie and tackle thematically. We can just go there. We don't have to be afraid of the movie studio shutting it down or being like, don't do that, or it's too political, or, whatever. So that's exciting as well, I think.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to these rewatches because, I don't think I've seen the second... No, I've probably seen the second one a couple of times since release, but I don't think I've seen the third film since I saw it.
When's the last time you watched any of them, do you reckon?
Even at that, it's probably like 10 plus years at least.
Okay. I was about to say, because I rewatched the first one, I think it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So the first one's not that long ago for me. Just the other ones, maybe.
Alright. Next up, we've got Don't Look Up, directed by Adam McKay, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Rob Morgan, Jonah Hill, Mark Rylance, Tyler Perry, Ron Perlman, Timothée Chalamet, Ariana Grande, Scott Medusi, Kate Blanchett, and Meryl Streep. Two low-level astronomers must go on a giant tour to warn mankind of an approaching comet that will destroy planet Earth. Obviously, this is only like a small teaser. But Dylan, what do you think of this one?
Really cool teaser. Really looking forward to it. Leo's like sort of off his face in this trailer. I'm intrigued how serious they play it, or if it's more like sort of dark comedy, I guess. Because the whole premise is it could be taken either way. You could do this premise very seriously and be like, hey, look, the message of the movie being like, we got to prepare for the shit, maybe, or I don't know. Or you could do it as a dark comedy where it's like, Leo then gets to have some sort of fun in a role he doesn't usually do. But I don't really. You can watch the trailer, and I swear, if you blink, you would miss what the movie's even about because it's a teaser. Unless you go read the description in the YouTube video or whatever. So I'm keen to get a full trailer and whatever else. But yeah, I thought it was a good trailer. By the way, Matrix double thumbs up. This double thumbs up.
Yes,
I forgot to,
same.
Yeah.
Forgot about the thumbs. for trailers. Yeah, I really enjoyed this as well. It's like nice to see Jennifer Lawrence working again after she took a hiatus break or whatever. Yeah, just seeing. I feel like I'm trying to remember which of his performances it reminds me of. It feels a little bit like Catch Me When You Can, like at the start of the film. He's a bit more nervous and not, the suave con man that we all get to see. But yeah, sounds interesting. I feel like it's going to go in that slightly darker comedy tone. Definitely get the impression the main idea is no one believes that the comet is coming. Much in the way nobody believes code is a thing, apparently. I think it'll be playing like a kind of allegory for that kind of thing of comet deniers. So yeah, looks interesting. Obviously, a big get for Netflix with all the stars and Adam McKay and that kind of stuff. So that's coming to Netflix December 10th, 2021. Should also mention that Matrix Resurrections come to Australia January 1st, 2022. Next up was a film that did quite well at TIFF this year. Come On, directed by Mike Mills, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Gabby Hoffman, Scoot McNairy, Molly Webster, Jabuki Young White, and Woody Norman. A man and his young nephew forge a tenuous but transformational relationship when they're unexpectedly thrown together. Dylan, what do you think of this one?
A24 Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, boy. I don't need to know anymore. I didn't even need to watch the trailer. You could have been like, Dylan, there's an A24 movie. I'd be like, oh yeah. You could have been like, it stars Joaquin Phoenix. I'm like, double thumbs up.
He's playing the Joker.
See, these motherfuckers. There's people in the comments being like, "Oh, Joaquin like I've seen people like saying stuff that's basically like implying or like a riff on he's blown up since the Joker and all that, or like, oh, he's so good since all this. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he literally has been in some of the most well-renowned movies of the last 10, 15 years. Like, nominated several times stuff. Joaquin Phoenix has always been around fucking kicking ass. Bloody Joker's one of his worst films. Get fucked. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. It's double thumbs up. I don't really know what's going on, but I'm keen. Double thumbs up.
Yeah, I give this double thumbs up as well. Well-constructed trailer of Joaquin Phoenix. He's just reading a storybook. That's all he's really doing, as we learned at the end of the trailer. But, obviously all the imagery and that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's shot in black and white, so it obviously looks really good and that kind of stuff. Right. So, yeah, I'm really keen for this one as well. From word it is really good as well. And, maybe Joaquin Phoenix wins another Oscar. Because, we all need Joaquin Phoenix to give another Oscar speech. And then introduce somebody for an Oscar the next year. And that's what the world needs now. Next up, we got a teaser for Nightmare Alley, directed by Guillermo del Toro, starring Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, William Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Ron Perlman, and David Strathairn. A corrupt conman teams up with a female psychiatrist to trick people into giving them money. Dylan, what did you think of this teaser?
This is, I think, one of my most anticipated movies of the near future. I think, obviously, I like Guillermo del Toro stuff. I really like Shape of Water. I like old Guillermo films, to be honest. And this is just this sort of genre, this sort of vibe, the actors, the way it's shot, the way it looks. The fact that this whole trailer teasing like a monster. Is there a monster? Is there not a monster? All this sort of stuff. Always loved. The best thing about Guillermo del Toro films is he does monster movies, but I guess, spoiler, quite often the monsters in the movies are never actually the monsters. They're mostly always people. And that's one of my favorite things about his twists and turns and whatever else. But, I mean, this is just a really good trailer. You're like, I have no fucking clue what's going on. Really. You see people doing stuff, you see blood, you see people running away, screaming, people talking. You see a bunch of actors that are big names that I like. I like to see them, see Bradley Cooper in this. I'm like, that's exciting. Like, I like Bradley Cooper when he's acting well and being in films that are interesting. I don't like Bradley Cooper when he's in boring bullshit movies like Limitless. But yeah, this is good. Double thumbs up. I'm very, very, very keen for this.
Yeah, it's a good trailer. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. I'm still on the fence whether I'll go see it. I probably will because, I like Guillermo del Toro's work for the most part. Not that I've seen everything, but
he doesn't he doesn't do horror movies that
he doesn't do hard horror.
He doesn't really do what you perceive as unwatchable.
Yeah, he just horror themes, not necessarily horror movies.
No,
I think
yes.
Yeah, and like some of the imagery in this is really interesting, and like that cast is stacked. Looks really great. So that one comes out, from what I could tell, here in Australia, January 20th, 2022. So, gotta wait for that one. Finishing up, The Humans, directed by Stephen Karam, starring Richard Jenkins, Jane Howdyshell, Amy Schumer, Beanie Feldstein, Stephen Ewan, and June Squibb. Set inside a pre-war duplex in downtown Manhattan, The Humans follows the course of an evening in which the Blake family gathers to celebrate Thanksgiving. As darkness falls outside the crumbling building, mysterious things start to go bump in the night, and family tension reaches a boiling point. So this is based on a one-act play, I believe that.
That's what it says in the trailer.
That's what it says in the trailer. So Dylan, what do you think of The Humans?
Yeah, this looked really good. I think Amy Poehler I was surprised how good I guess Amy Poehler looks in this. Given,
it's a much more serious role.
Yeah, has she done serious roles before?
Not that I could think of.
Yeah, I definitely can see one, and this looks like proper serious role. There's a funny part also at the fact they're discussing zombie films at the start, and Stephen, what's his last name?
Stephen Yeun.
The fact he's in this and discussing shitty zombie movies at the start or TV show at the start, I was like, is this a parody? Is this a parody on his life or something? That was quite funny. Yeah, I mean, coming off the back of The Father, I guess you'll be going into this with sort of high standards. Not to say that The Father was the first play adapted into a movie, but that we're sort of coming off that being adapted quite well and having huge success as a movie. And this has a similar vibe, I guess, because it seems to be primarily set during, inside of a apartment building, even though this one's the complete opposite of the apartment in The Father, where that was someone who had a decent amount of money and whatever else, and this is a crumbling building that's falling apart. So yeah, I'm keen. I really like the cast. I like the trailer. I thought it was put together well, and I'm keen to watch it. Double thumbs up.
Yeah, again, another 2 thumbs up for me. Great put together trailer. Obviously an odd, weird family drama, but also seems to be getting some weird, creepy vibes to the trailer as well. Some of the camera angles and obviously the setting adds to that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, that kid's talking about a monster or whatever, and then you see the bang on the roof and the light moving or whatever. But I mean, come on, the type of movie this is. This all has to be a play on things. It's not actually a horror movie. So
no, absolutely. So yeah, definitely keen for this one. And at the moment, it does not have an Australian release date. So keep your eyes peeled for when that potentially could be out.
That's my favourite Australian release date.
Gotta love them. All right.
BBC.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of What Do You Want to Watch? Let us know what date do you think The Humans is going to come out? Is it going to come out 2022? 2023? Is it going to be in cinemas? Some streaming service going to pick it up?
Never! That's my impression of Michael Caine in Batman.
Okay. Well, let us know by finding us on Twitter by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump into our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell people about the show on Twitter or in person, assuming you've been vaccinated. And if you like this episode and thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support and buy us a coffee. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.